difference between those individual value, the difference from the average value, the mean value, and divided by the whole population. This score. So that's a very smart method as well. And some of you are even using difference percentage. So he or she is actually trying to measure how much of the percentage, the next year compared with the previous year, and keep moving with that window. Oh, that's also very intelligent calculated field. So all those things, I accept that, but as you can see, the little one I mentioned is a better one. By this, I mean, I already gave you your grade, right? But that means you have no room to change your KPI. You still have room to change your KPI if you want to upgrade your metrics to the one I just mentioned. But that's gonna benefit your next assignment because next assignment is gonna be built up based on your previous assignment. So in your previous assignment, if you haven't updated your say the improvement of the health indicator to the one I mentioned, please do that. It's up to you. The second thing is I noticed that some of you are using trend. Great. So you're trying to use the trend to give the audience that there's like estimation in your data. But I have to remind you that whenever you show your audience a trend line, be careful with its scores. Because I see some of you trend line shows me that the p-value is very big, like 50% of the p-value, and your R-square is very, very small. Like R-square is only 1%. So that means your trend line doesn't cover the trend of your data at all, because your data is not statistically significant. So what is statistically significant? When you see your p-value, the less the better. Like if your p-value is like close to 0 or 1% or 5%, the maximum is 5%. Less than 5% for your p-value gap for your trend line, that's good one. You should take it. You should keep your trend line. If you see your p-value is like 10% or 20%, better remove it. The same thing for the R-square. So as I mentioned last time, R-square reflects how well your model fit your data. If your R-square is like 60%, good one, keep your trend line. Otherwise, remove it. So that's my comments for your previous submission. And we're going to continue with today is that we need to combine your visualizations into dashboard. So why do we need to combine that? Because you don't want to have individual views. You want to have a very complementary stories, and you want to find a place to highlight the correlations between your indicators. Or you also want to, you don't want your audience to like go back and forth to check your views to find some context. You don't want that to happen. You want everything to be integrated into somewhere. It's ready for your audience to digest. So that's the main reason we want to have all your things together into dashboard. Now we have gone through this one. Like depends on who is going to be your audience. If your dashboard is for big boss, make a big pictures. If it's something like very operational for analysts like me, yeah, give more details. And you also need to make your dashboard with some, contrast, alternative text for easy reading. So that's the element you should have for your dashboard. KPI, you already have all of them, right? Again, I would like to address KPI. It's not just a data field. It's more than that. It's something you might have to do your own diligence to represent that into maybe a mathematical way or computational way for that. And you should have your own charts, filters probably sometime, which is not mandatory all the time. Annotations, again, you have your trend lines, labels, or you have a cap, you have title. And this is the way how you're going to structure your dashboard. So place your KPI at the top. 3 KPI, 4 KPIs, okay, 5, maximum going to be 5. Because if there's too many of them, it's going to make it a little bit difficult for your audience to read. You should group your charts according to their, not just the graphical similarity, I mean the semantic similarity. Like sales, you would like to correlate that to your demographics, then put them together. And you can, like finally, you should use some grays or white space to give boundaries between those different views. So this is the way you can structure your content. You might have a header to summarize your discovery.
Hello, sir. I just came back here from the work.
Okay, yes. You can have more like summarized based stuff driven by your high level KPI. And you have your charts as more detailed, and you could have some footer, tell them where is your data from, where is this digital dashboard being made up. We don't have to go for this one because you already get through that. This one as well, that's for the interaction elements. By the way, for the previous assignment, I did see some of you have some interaction element. That's great. But one thing is that you can keep that as a kind of like an individual discovery. Like you can imagine your audience, if they still want to see a very static image, and you should give overview, overall perspective. Meanwhile, you could allow your audience to click your interaction element for them to see the individual perspective. So try to find a trade-off between those. Again, if your boss is like if this is for your boss, maybe you shouldn't have many interactions because they just want to stay there and they have a look. That's it. That's my perspective for dashboard. Dashboard is much more than just a simple assembly of your visualization. It has 3 things, very important things. You discover your KPI semantically, computationally. You have that. and you think that's ready for you to generate some analytic insights. So what is trend? What's patterns? What's our correlations? But having two things are not enough. That's the one you're gonna attract your audience, make that beautiful. So we call that aesthetics. So the fundamental design that I was telling you to go for is for that one. So you know basic concept for using lines, shapes, boundaries, layout, textures. It's a long-term journey. I don't expect anyone can have one course or one class or two classes or another. It can take for someone decades, even to finally know what is the way to design something to be beautiful. So I would say that is the hardest one. That is the most difficult one, because being an artist and being a scientist, that's just different levels, right? That's just different levels. But still, that means that we couldn't add some, very lightful or very, or colors, your themes, your textures can all benefit your dashboard. So try as much as you can, and you have those principles from the slides. So that's the thing. I want you to have that as your checkout. So if you think your dashboard is ready, or you doubt it if it's not ready, and there's something you can go through and check by asking yourself, does my data, when you have your data, do I have the context for my audience to understand that? Do I have it? Second thing, have you unlocked the relationship from your data in terms of their trends, distribution, correlation, ranking, comparison, and outliers? Have you? I noticed that some of you did mention that you find some ponds are weird, so I decided not to use that. That's great. So that's kind of like identification of outliers. And how about correlations? Like when you figured out life expectancy might be overall like a health indicator, but is that correlated with other health indicators such as the
life expectancy?
Yeah, like the reduction, of the coverage of the vaccination. Do they correlate? If they do correlate, that's great. That means you can tell them, oh, my support is going to tell you why this country is leading country, because it seems to identify there's some key measure they were taking to improve their life expectancy because they cover the vaccination very well, or not. I mean, there's so many ways. So correlation is actually very, very important measure. We're probably going to show you later on. So I know everyone is limited to your own time. You have other courses, but this is totally up to you. I mean, if you apply those things, which means you're not just trying to get a diploma or certificate from a course, right? You're trying to prepare yourself for your long-term career development. You can do that. Then when you have those relationships ready, you can turn your data into insights or discovery. So what exactly? I mean, people are talking about insight. I mean, if you have the second one, I think you always have this one. You just need to summarize your discovery from the second one. And also, the fourth one, you're gonna check ask yourself, did I highlight the findings or the insights? I know that myself. I know that. But do you think it's being highlighted yet or not? And finally, did you give a conclusion for the dashboard? If you have all those things up, then I think your dashboard is ready. So you can clearly say that it's more than just a simple combination. The very, very final thing is that this is actually for further data storing. So you might need to give an introduction or background of your data. Why do you need to analyze developed country? Because you think by comparing developing country and developed country, there's a huge difference. So you need to figure out what is driving this difference. So that could be some background, right? But that's not for this one. I mean, not for a dashboard yet, but that could be something for your next one. You're trying to make slides. So in each of your slides, you remember we mentioned how you make up a narrative arc. So that's something for the future, but I mentioned here. You have this already. Do you want to have a break? Let's have a break. Because it's been an hour and a half. And when you come back, we just publish this assignment for you. Then you're good to go. I mean, for this weekend, I'm not saying we are going for the class. You still should come back, and I'm going to show you something for the TAPI later on. So let's have a break for 15 minutes, and we come back for this assignment. Okay.